Hello friends, this is Ganesh and video number 2 on S4 HANA. In this session, I'm going to explain about the migration process. This is very basic to understand what is migration and how it is happening between our ACC to S4 HANA and what are the terminologies they are using. You might aware of Greenfield implementation, Brownfield implementation or Bluefield implementation and a sidecar approach. So I would like to give very basic information about these terminologies, and once you're comfortable with that, we'll go with further videos of the checklist, what needs to be done before the S4 HANA migration. So those things will come one by one. Okay, so here I'm going to show you everything in the slide today, so we'll get into that. So the first is migration process. This a picture, you just remember many things. It's like how we are part of implementation project between SAP 4.6C or 4.7 to ECC 6, ECC 5. So there are very good periods, like at least 8 to 10 years back. There is a very standard interview question: how many implementation you done in your SAP career or in your SAP experience? So many people are wanted to be a part of implementation project to know what is happening inside there and what is implementation means in SAP side. Okay, and very basic idea of implementation from my perspective is you can take the MS Office as an example. So they have every year or every year they used to release their own version of MS Office. You take MS Word. Okay, so you have 96, you have 2000 and 2001, 2, 3, and now they call it as Office 365. So it's a huge evaluation what you have seen at least 10 or 12 years back. The same thing is happening in every product, it's happening in SAP as well. Okay, so now we started the very basic, they started the very basic like R2, R3, 4.6B, C7, ECC5, ECC6, and now they are coming with S4 HANA. So if you take a product, it has a evaluation from their origin to the current market or current design. So what is the customer requirement? So based on that, they have to change or they have to enhance their product. So that is what is happening everywhere. It's happening in our SAP as well. So if you take this scenario 4.7 to ECC 6, we might gone through many kind of checklist. I'm not going to list out everything over here. This is just a reference for you, and it might be a unique code errors, and ever the checklist is depends on your target system. So target system accept only unique code, and target system they enable the enhancement category in table. So what I have to do? Okay, so a few things to be modified in the target system, some absolute functions and objects. So how I can enhance my custom object? Mostly this is for the custom objects. Okay, and the BDC program, there might be a change in the screen. So how I have to take care of my BDC program? So everything to be listed out on that to be corrected and put it in a transport, and that has to be moved to the new system. They have my sandbox development quality and then production. So you know the process, right? So same thing we are going to do it here. So there is no change, but probably we have tools. It's more tools compared to like 5 or 6 or 10 years back how we did ECC6 implementation. Now we have a lot of tools available, so that the actually tools plays a major role of this migration process. So that's what we're going to see in today's session. And enhancement category include an FTP. So obviously if you have any connection between your old system, you have to redirect to the new system, and you have a different transaction, especially for this migration process, SPAU and SPGG, and the third party systems are might used, and we need to change the communication channel between your third party system to new ECC system. So this is the idea of migration, what we have done so far. And same thing is going to happening in your S4 HANA as well. So here migration, it's might be if you take the object level or transaction level, these are might changes. So they may used 5 transaction, now they have 4 in new system, and they have different UI, and here they made They may increase the screen, they may decreased or deleted some tables or some screen level, some functionalities. They had mostly the addition is more compared to deletion, and they made few things as absolute, and going forward in the future they might stop using those kind of function models or objects, whatever it is. So we need to consider this, what is available in target system, how we can map our custom object from our current system to target system. So this is the one line of migration process for any consultant in the product. Same thing is for S4 HANA as well. So this is, it's compared to 4.7 to ECC, this is quite little new, because the evaluation also is a bigger one, because they want to compete, or they want to, what I can say, like compete, or they have to deliver what customer is required, and they have to compete with the other products as well. So here S4 HANA is in a digital transformation era, so they have to work with particular digital informations for their product. So that's why the migration is little different compared to 4.7 to ECC and ECC to S4 HANA. That's why everybody has a very big question mark, how we can do it, what is green, what is brown, what is blue. We didn't have these things, because now the options are more. Okay, and we are moving from ECC to a different product. It's not going to upgrade of your ECC, it's going to different product. Okay, so that's why little additional steps I can say, it's not quite entirely new what we have done implementation 4.7 ECC. The same process we are going to follow, probably some tools involved, some methods or some steps to be added. So at the end of the day, we have to migrate it. Simple. Okay. So here you have some UI application comes in the picture, from Fiori application comes in the picture, 5 tables are modified into 1 table. So those are to be considered for the migration process. So there are two options. Depends on the customer need. They have to decide whether they go with the database migration or application migration, or both at the same time. Okay, depends how the volume of SAP data, how the SAP is using in their customer, like in their business, and how the users are comfortable to just migrate from ECC to S4. A lot of parameters for them to decide whether we go with database migration or application migration. So our people will convince, will give, means SAP people who's going to implement, they'll give all the pros and cons based on their business design, then the customer will decide. So which one is best for their need. And database migration is like, first you have to go with ECC to Suite on HANA, and you go with the S4 HANA. Okay, this is not compulsory, but this is a way they used to do. And if you say option 2, I want to go with database and application, so I'm good, I'm comfortable, my users are comfortable, I go with that. Then from ECC to S4 HANA directly, you don't want to use this SOH. So SOH is an optional part. If you need, then go ahead with this. Otherwise, you can ignore it. Another one is, there's a pre-request of your ECC. Okay, it's not like, okay, my ECC is ready, I'll go to Suite on HANA. Not only ours, everywhere there are some pre-requests to keep your product to the next release. Okay, so our pre-request is your ECC should be enhancement package 7 minimum. Then only you are able to migrate to S4 HANA or Suite on HANA, whatever is required. So what you have to do is, first step, you have to upgrade, you in the sense the customer, they doesn't have EHP7 for ECC, they have to upgrade their ECC first, then go with Suite on HANA or S4 HANA. Okay, and yeah, so that is about the migration process. Okay, so decide how you're going to do it, and the tools are playing a major role in this migration process, even in the upgrade also. Okay, probably I never used tools previous, like third-party tools. Maybe we use some transaction to just check what the ADC checks. So whatever it's available, we used it, but we didn't use much third-party tools on those days, like 10 years back. But here we have a lot of third-party tools available that plays very good role in the migration process. So that itself, it's identify the correction, what needs to be done in the custom. I'm always talking about the custom objects, okay? What needs to be done in the custom objects, the program or enhancement, user exit, and it will trust the transaction, it recorded the test results, create the test results, record the test results. If the business users is running one of the report and they just come to know what is the bug in that. So the tool itself is identifying the bug, and there is an option to assign to the developer. So they don't want to just make a note of it and everything. So everything in the tool. Once the developer notified with the information, they can fix the issue and they can post it against the particular we call it as ticket, whatever it is, okay? So ticket, and they have to assign, okay, I'm done it, so this is our testing. So then they can run the test with again they run the test with the business scenarios. So they confirm that they can close the ticket, okay? And we can run the test with a video reference, like the functional should not come on or explain very detailed. They don't have to create any document saying that this is step 1, step 2 and everything, because tool has a video reference. So they can record the entire transaction, and where is the bug, they'll show, okay, there is a bug in it, please fix it. Okay, so that way it goes, and it can organize your changes in a transport request, and there is an option to monitor the transport movement also. So you might aware of many tools are available in the market, especially to help for the migration process. Okay, so actually we used Panaya tool for the migration process over here. And one step ahead, some companies or the service providers, they are using a RPA for the migration process. Probably you might aware of it. So robotic planning, sorry, I missed actually. It's robotic process automation, RPA. So it's very simple. We have a open source, sense. We have a trial version. Even you can try it. It's for SAP is very simple because I tried it. It's like a BDC. It's just recording all the transaction and everything. So they used that also, especially for the data comparison and everything. So comparatively, it's like more than human interventions. We have a lot of tools involved to make sure we are doing things correctly. What are things to be important, and the monitor track level, everything is good in the tools. Okay, so please keep yourself updated with the what are the tools available to or involved in the migration process. Okay. And then terminologies. This is very simple to understand. These are some terminologies you need to understand. So once you have an idea, so whenever there is a conversation happening in the migration process, very easily you want to correlate, okay, this is the what this, okay. So first one is Greenfield implementation. It's very simple, start from scratch. Okay, it's a brand new implementation without considering the existing ID system, meaning they have a tool or they have a product to maintain the business data. Even they have a SAP as well. They are running on SAP EC6 or they are running on non-SAP system, whatever it is. Customer decide, okay, I'm going with new implementation. I don't want to do any conversion from my any existing system. So that's what I mean here, without considering how it is working on. So forget about it. I need a very brand new design for as a product for my business. So you have to re-engineering that. So they have to understand their business process and they're going to implement your S4 HANA in the customer side. So that is called Greenfield implementation. Okay, it might be a little challenging because they need to understand their business and they have to start working on how it's going to work in S4 HANA. And here, the one of there are every implementation there is a pros and cons. Okay, so here one of the thing is they don't have a master data. If you're going to implement or going to convert from SAP to S4HANA, you have a master data over here. But here the master data is missing, but again you have to do it, no other option. You have to move everything to a S4HANA system, new system. And mostly preferable is if the customer is using non-SAP and they decide to S4HANA, that makes more sense and comparatively go with SAP to S4HANA part. So we'll add the steps or checklist for each implementation as well. Okay, so that is a greenfield. It's kind of a brand new implementation of S4 HANA to the customer. Excuse me. Brownfield implementation is, I prefer or I refer same like 4.72 ECC. I have a SAP system. I'm going to the new version. The same thing is nothing but Brownfield implementation. It's kind of a convert or upgrade, you can say. So I'm going to upgrade my ECC system to S4 HANA system. So here, the advantage is like we can use the existing solutions. You can save some historical data over there and rapidly move to S4 HANA. Very quickly you can move to S4 HANA. It's not like Greenfield, you have to wait because it's from scratch they are doing it, and slowly adapt the S4 HANA invention whenever you have a time. If you compare to Greenfield, configurations and workflows, everything to be configured from the scratch. But in if it is a brownfield implementation, everything in the place, but you need to convert it and make sure it's working fine in your S4 HANA system. Then the system is very quickly ready for you for your business, and slowly you can adapt to whatever inventions, whatever the add-ons is available in S4 HANA system. So that is the advantage of brownfield implementation part. Okay, and final one is Bluefield implementation. It's a combination of green and brown. Okay, or I can say it's between green and brown. So the customer can selectively redesign the system. Okay, I don't want to start from scratch. I don't want to convert my entire system to S4 HANA. I want to convert a few portions of my design. Okay, I'll go with only for a few models. Finance, I'll go with S4 HANA system. So what I can do is I can hold my existing solution, and I'm going to convert only the few portion of my business to S4 HANA. Then probably after some time, if you're comfortable, then I can increase, or then I can go ahead with, for example, is I go with only few company codes, not all. So in that case also you are able to do this. So that is a Bluefield implementation. As per my knowledge, comparatively the average is more for brownfield implementations, so moving from existing solutions to the S4 HANA system. Okay, I will try to get the average of the customers, at least the percentage, maybe in the next slide, and give you that information as well. Okay, so these are the implementation terminologies: green, brown, and blue. And finally, sidecar approach. You might aware of this terminology as well once you start working on S4 HANA or start learning about S4 HANA. Sidecar approach, name itself, you might understand something in parallel, simple. Okay, I have some system, in parallel I have another system. I'm just keep on working with the new system, and I'm comfortable with the new system. I'll maybe adapt, or I can ignore as well. Okay, so that way some customers or might approach or going with sidecar approach is nothing but customer has option to test the capabilities or performance of S4 HANA system. Uh, excuse me. One of the things is you have some reports, example 5 reports. It's running very slow. You did all the performance measures of your like SAP ECC technologies, still is not running good. Few reports or few transactions. Then what you can do is, or what the customer might do is, they decided, okay, I'm going to run these transactions and these reports in S4 HANA as a sidecar approach. So once I comfortable, once the report and transactions are getting keep on increasing their performance, then slowly I can adapt it. Okay, there is an option I can see. There's an option in SAP Sidecar Approach. So what they can do is, yeah, these are explained. Okay, before that, there are some transactions where you can do the connection to that secondary database, DB Cockpit. Probably you might use this transaction to connect your third-party system with your SAP. Normal connection to be established in this transaction, then only you are able to connect from your custom program or custom objects. Okay, and the SLT system landscape transformation, that is a process where it moves the data from one database to another database. So here what we are going to do is we are going to move the data from primary database to secondary database. So here primary database could be anything. I can choose Oracle, and secondary database is S4 HANA, HANA database, not S4 HANA database. Okay, so here what we are going to do is the report might touch 5 to 10 tables overall, and the transaction also going to be used from 5 or 6 tables. So only those tables, it's all available in HANA, and only those table data is going to be transferred from your Oracle system to HANA system to run the performance. Okay, so with the help of SLT they have to use to do it. Same like a batch job, you can schedule it. it's like a one-time load, or every half an hour or every 1 hour, you can do the SLT process. That will take care of it. Okay. So once it is moved, you can run only the whatever the report and transaction is chosen by customer. They're going to run it for quite some time with that HANA database, and they'll just see the how the performance is getting increased in the particular report and transactions. So this is the what I have explained it. I have a SAP ECC system, and I have a primary database, and I have a secondary database. So here through SLT, I'm going to connect the data from primary to secondary system with the time interval. And once the data is ready, I'm going to run particular report and transaction by secondary database after the connection is established. So here we are giving an option for the customer to understand how the performance, how the capabilities of HANA. Okay, so once it is done, they might go with the full-fledged enterprise version of S4 HANA. Clear? So these are terminologies which I would like to share with you people. So if you have any doubt, please let me know, and probably I will come with a checklist and little more technical details about the S4 HANA migration process. Okay, thank you so much for your time. See you in the next video.